Here is my son's Switch. We've had it about a year, and within 2 weeks of owning it, he dropped it. So I had to buy that for £30. And then about another 6 weeks after that, my wife dropped it. So we had to buy these for £60. So within the first 6 months of owning it, we'd spent £90 on Joy controllers, which was starting to wind me up, I think would probably be a fair way of describing it. So me being the little ferret that I am, I thought, there's got to be a way around this. And I fixed them. And I would like to show you today how to fix it, because it's quite easy and it's a lot cheaper than 60 quid. So the first thing you'll know when something's gone wrong is that you can't have the full 360 sort of degrees movement on the joypad. So you won't be able to move left, right, up, down sort of thing. And obviously, as you can understand, that's probably quite frustrating if you've just got a brand new Switch for Christmas. So yes, let me just show you what it looks like with the broken one. So this is the broken one. This is the one that's up for operations today. So if you look, every time I take my thumb off the joypad, it has sort of involuntary movement, which, like I say, if you're trying to play Mario, sure, that's really annoying for a 6-year-old. So today's the day, got a little bit of time. I'd just like to show you how to do it. So to find one of these on eBay, it is an analog thumbstick replacement for the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con controller, and I paid £3.69. And having done a couple of these now, I know that they're multi-fitment, sort of ambidextrous, so they can go in the left one or the right one, so it doesn't matter, you just need to order yourself one. The other two things, like I said, you need is just a teeny tiny little normal Phillips screwdriver, and you will need a tri-screwdriver. I don't know if you can see that. Basically, it's just got the 3 blades, and you need that to get the initial 4 screws off to open the case. Let's get on with it, I'll show you. First up are the 4 tri-screws. These should come out nice and easy, but don't lose them. Sorry this video isn't 100% crystal clear and it's not particularly detailed, but it was the best way I could film it, just to show you exactly what I was doing. Now you can use your fingernails just to pop the top case open. I know it's now starting to look a bit scary, but keep going. All we got to do on this next bit is wiggle the battery out. It's just held down by some double-sided tape. Trust me, it will come out. Now you need the tiny screwdriver, and there are 5 silver little screws to remove the battery plate. Four of the screws are in a square shape with one last one on that bottom left. Don't forget it, otherwise it won't come out. So we now have come up to the first of the ribbon connector. Pop that little flap and it will just pull straight out. But be a little bit gentle. So now we can look at the actual component itself. It is that silver square on the right hand side. It's 2 more tiny little screws and another little ribbon connector that you just got to pop that flap and it will pull straight out. The trickiest part is now one of the screws that holds that thumb pad is half under another cable that sort of comes across it. I'm sure you could take it out, but that's only creating another problem. So you just got to be very careful when unscrewing it to not damage that ribbon. And just like that, out comes the broken one. Again, just watching that ribbon that's over the top of it, just pull it out underneath. Everything will be fine. So all we now got to do is put it back together again. That's the easy bit, right? Everything goes back in reverse. The first hardest bit is, again, wiggling that first screw hole underneath that ribbon. 2 little screws to hold the thumbstick in place. In they go. This time around, I really did find that ribbon a bit of a pain to get that second screw underneath it. So just keep going, keep going. That ribbon really was being a bit of a pain. I had to take the whole thing back out again and sort of wiggle it back under the cable because it just wasn't happening. But it went. Once the screws are done, all you've got to do next is push the new ribbon connector back into the housing. Once it's in, use the screwdriver to push that little flap down, and then a good tip is just to use it underneath to see if it comes back out again, just to make sure it is definitely in. Otherwise that'll be a right pain in the whatnot. And we're back to the tiny little screws. Out of the 5, there are 2 extra tiny ones. We need them to do a diagonal pattern from the bottom left next to the component we've just put in. Put them in first. Last of the ribbon connectors, just wiggle it in, make sure it's in, and then use the little screwdriver to pop the flap down. On this one, I used the little screwdriver just to really sort of make sure it was in fully. Before we screw that battery plate back down, make sure that top button is in place, and obviously don't forget that spring, and be careful of that because that springs all over the place. Right, there's a little bit of a clip as that goes back in, and now we're getting really close. Those last 3 tiny little screws to hold down that battery plate in the opposite diagonal pattern, and then don't forget that one all by itself from that bottom left. With those done, in goes the battery, just held down by that bit of double-sided sticky tape. Make sure it's in properly, and we're nearly there, guys. This is that last little screw I told you not to forget. It was a bit of a pain. You should feel a really satisfactory, rewarding little clip as that goes back together again. Make sure nothing's sticking out or nothing gets caught as it goes together. And then all we've got to do is those 4 last tri-screws. There's something quite rewarding and really satisfying about fixing something that was completely broken, especially when you know it's about to cost you £60 and in reality it's cost you £4 off eBay and maybe taken 20 minutes and a cup of coffee. And there it is, the lights are flashing and the double thumbs up. Let's just check it's working though before we get too confident. So thank you for watching my little video here. I genuinely do hope it has helped someone out there. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not impossible, and if you give it a go, what have you got to lose? It's broken anyway. The one fix, and we can keep that as a spare for next time it gets broken. Thank you for watching. Double thumbs up.